Hello, it is World Wide Web, Wednesday, January 5th, 2021. 2021. What the heck year is it? It's 2022. I might have said that yesterday too. What the heck? I'll get used to it. 21 is gone. 22 is here. Anyway, tonight's topic comes from one of our loyal viewers here at facebook.com/smallbizhelp, where I record and have recorded a new daily Facebook Live video every single day since the middle of March 2017, coming up almost on 5 years now. And I love when I get some input from you, the viewers, on topics you want me to talk about. Harwin Sagu, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, asked me to talk about the whole UX UI situation. Well, I'll just leave it there and I'll give my thoughts on it. So first of all, what the heck is UX UI? Sounds like some, tech speak, and it is, but it's pretty simple. UX stands for user experience. UI stands for user interface. Now still, what's the difference? Well, here's the difference. UX, user experience, well, that pertains to everything. Every single product, every service, everything there is. What is the experience of the end user, the buyer, who's using the product, whether it is a beach ball or a flag or a map or a car or a computer or a pair of shoes. Can be any kind of product or service, and then there's a user experience that the producer, the creator of the product or service, really needs to think about. You need to think about user experience with every single product or service that you sell, and that encompasses everything from the first time that a potential prospect encounters your product or service till they go through the buying process, till they buy it, and after they buy it and they're using it, and depending on the product, can be days, weeks, months, years, decades later, the user experience is still important. So that's the user experience, and I'll get back to that. I was going to say, I'll circle back, as they say in the media these days. But okay, user UI, user interface. Now this one really does not pertain to just any product or service in the history of mankind. This one really is a tech term, and this is about the interface, how someone interacts and uses your technical platform, your website, your app, your anything, your microwave oven, any kind of your TV, any kind of piece of technology that somebody uses. What's the user interface like? How easy it is to change the channels on the remote control. How easy it is. I mean, we have like multiple remote controls. We got one for the sound bar, we got one for the TV, we got one for the whatever. We got like four different. Is the on-off button easy to press? Are the channels easy to move up and down? Is it easy to fast forward? When you're using an app, when you're using a website, what is the navigation bar on the top? Is it on the side? Is there a pop-up? Is there a drop-down? Is there a form you have to fill out just to even see what's going on the website? Do you get annoying pop-ups popping up all the time as you're trying to read whatever you're trying to read on the website? Is the user interface friendly? Is it welcoming? That also will affect how long people stay engaged with your technology. Whether and I've seen people do this, they'll buy an appliance and they'll pretty much get rid of it quickly. And I see the reviews on Amazon, and they're like, man, I bought this thing, it was cool, but man, it's so hard. I remember when we bought our air fryer, and one of the reviews about one of them was like, man, you have to cycle through, am I cooking meat, fish, pizza, this, that, and you can't just press on one. You have to cycle through all of them every single time. You got to boop, 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 boop. People didn't like that. People didn't buy because of that. That's user interface. How easy it is to use, how fun it is, how enjoyable it is to use, to interface with your technology, right? So it could be anything from an air fryer to a website, to a mobile app, to a membership site where you have a course where people can watch videos, listen to audios, download PDFs, checklists. How does that happen? Do they have to click? How many times do they have to click in order to download something? When they're watching a video on your website, does it automatically play and then there's no controls? Happens a lot to me. You press on play and then, I can't fast forward. So if I miss something, I can't go back. I'd have to go back and watch the whole thing again, which I ain't going to do to a 20 or 30-minute video. I can't just go to the end. I can't speed it up. I can't pause it if the phone rings or if something happens. It's not a friendly user interface. Now, of course, it has its purposes. They want you to consume the sales. They're forcing you to consume the sales message all at once, blah, blah, blah. We can get into all that at some other point. So here's one way to think about it. Let's take a human being. The user experience is really the basis. It's the first thing you think of and the first thing you do when you're putting together your product or service. That's the guts, the foundation. For a human body would be the organs, the veins, the guts, the bones, everything on the inside of the body. That's the user experience. That's the guts, the foundation, the basis of your product or service. The user interface comes in, which is more what's on the outside. How does the body look? How does it feel? How does it smell? How does it taste? If someone's going to, if it's a cookie or something somebody's going to eat. So all that outside type of stuff is how people interface with your technology product. So both are important, but here's my 2 cents. Much, much, much more important, and you want it to be much more important, if you ask me, with your product or service, is the user experience. That is an absolute must. A lot of times you can get away with Dan Kennedy. So my first and still primary mentor in the world of direct marketing used to put out his monthly No BS marketing letter, and he used to talk about UI without using the term, of course. Probably wasn't even invented yet. He started putting it out 30 years ago or so or more. How he would talk about how, look, this is a no fluff, no BS newsletter. It's black and white, doesn't have fancy photos, doesn't have, great spacing like a magazine, a beautiful magazine would have, doesn't have a beautiful cover with a beautiful image of a model, doesn't have, all the visual aesthetic things that make like Time magazine or whatever magazine look fantastic. He's like, no, this newsletter does not look fantastic. It does not look fancy. It is all about the content. It's all about the content. That's the user experience. You will get value from this newsletter. You will get straight to the point, no nonsense, no fluff. The name of it, No BS. Marketing, sales, advertising, advice. Do not come here expecting it to also smell good, feel good, taste good, look good. None of that. So Dan Kennedy came right out and said, you know what, I'm skipping the whole UI thing. Not going to hire fancy graphic designers. I'm not going to hire fancy layout artists, it would be, for the print newsletter. I'm not going to have to pay for nice photos and size them correctly and make sure the colors are right. And I'm not concerned with none of that. And so he attracted a membership, target market, an audience, a who, the first W of the WOW strategy, your who, including me and others. And he conditioned us to say, look, we're here for the content. So sure, we might read a magazine or watch a movie and the special effects and how it looks and sounds, that's all important. But when you come here to my No BS marketing letter, Dan Kennedy was saying, it's not about, wow, I'm watching in 3D and the effects are great and the music is great and look at the photos in National Geographic and Time magazine, this event. No, none of that. Here, you're getting pure money-making content, period. That's all it's about. So he purposely, and I know through the years, plenty of people came to him and said, I can jazz that thing up. And it's likely, almost undoubtedly, he would have had more members, more subscribers to the newsletter if he made it easier to consume, if the user interface, the UI, was better. Would have been, and we talked about that. He said, yeah, I don't want that. I don't want it easier to consume, and I don't want more people subscribing to it. I want the right people subscribing to it, and I want people who do not need all those bells and whistles. They're coming and they're conditioned to come and understand just for the money-making content. Those are the serious direct response marketing newbies, experts, future experts. Those are the people I want in my circle, because the newsletter was the lowest thing on the ladder he could possibly sell. From there, he also sold, well, he had books, I guess, that were cheaper, but then he would sell programs, courses, seminars, events, coaching, group coaching, one-on-one coaching, charging 20 grand a day. He's not going to get 20 grand a day from somebody that comes to a newsletter because it looks pretty and it's fluffy. He gets that from people that say, wow, Dan Kennedy, full of great, no BS, right to the point, money-making advice. I know that if I give him $20,000 for a day, I'm going to get one full day of pure money-making advice. I'm not going to get fluff. I'm not going to get nonsense. I'm not going to get BS. That was the message Dan Kennedy was sending with his un-UI, if you want to coin a new phrase, product, his newsletter. So think about that. There's a saying, ugly sells. A lot of ugly websites get, I'll give it the ugliest website in the history of mankind, Google. Not the inside of the website, the homepage, website. What is it? It says Google and has a search bar, has a box. That's it. A word in a box. Now, once in a while, they do jazz it up. That's UI. They jazz it up with some doodles on somebody's birthday or some event or some whatever. But basically, the Google website, one of the most trafficked websites, one of the biggest money-making websites, and one of the most influential and powerful websites in the history of mankind, is one of the ugliest websites in the history of mankind. It is a word and a box. Now, they've added a little like, oh, click here for a smart search, or there's doodles there, whatever. But it's basically a word in a box. And I'm pretty sure that UI designers, user interface-minded designers, come to them all the time and said, man, we can add so much more to this. We can add links. We can make it look better. We can make it look prettier. And just like I just talked about with Dan Kennedy, I'm pretty sure that Sergey and Larry, or whoever's running Google right now, those are the two founders, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, but I think that's the names. Anyway, end of a long day, talking to a lot of people as usual when I record these videos, having a little brain freeze. But anyway, I'm sure they constantly said, no, you don't get it. We are all about information, relevant information to people that come to google.com. Doesn't have to look pretty, doesn't have to sound pretty, doesn't have to look nice, smell nice, none of that. It's all about the best, quickest way to find the most relevant information on the internet. And when Google came out, there was all kinds of different search engines. And pretty soon Google became not only the search engine, the most used by far, but it became a verb that people use all the time. Hey, don't know what that means? Google it. Hey, you don't know who I am? Google me. Like, you don't hear people say Alta Vista me and Netscape it. All the big search engines that were around when Google came in, and Google blew them all away with a un-UI type of site. So think about it. Depends on the audience you want to attract. A lot more goes into it, but UX is basic. Everything has to have as great a user experience as you can make. UI, the interface, how well it works, how fancy, how easy it is to use. Nice things to have, and in certain industries that are a must-have. If you're in a visual industry, like you're a hairdresser, you really ought to have a nice website that has some nice user interface, has some nice photos on it, and you can go through a gallery, and you can look at all the different services, and you can click to set an appointment, and that's really easy to do. And you can click to see the menu of services and prices, and that's easy to do. A restaurant, easy to see. What's their menu? What's their hours? Where's the directions? A map pops up. Very important in those type of things. But in other areas, like we talked about, and I'll talk about more in the future, UI is secondary. UX, absolutely necessary. That'll do it for World Wide Web Wednesday. Hope this helps. Put a comment, please, and a like and a share, or all that kind of good stuff. With any questions, comments, concerns that you have, go to helpfromsteve.com if you want some in-depth help with this or anything else that has to do with the money-getting aspect of your business, the advertising, the marketing, the sales. And I'll be back here again with you tomorrow on Throwback Thursday. Keep those ideas and suggestions coming. Let me know what you want me to talk about. I talk about something different every single day. Let me know. Maybe I will talk about the topic you want to know more about. Catch you tomorrow. Over and out. Bye-bye.